And I think we're live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Not the Gospel of Comics. This is a Church of Failure, where we will have a more broad spectrum of topics in the coming weeks, and not just get derailed trying to talk about comics. We'll talk about the things we normally get derailed by, and get derailed talking about comics. It'll be great.
Get derailed talking about Secret Wars.
Right. Well, don't you fucking start. It's too early. Don't you fucking do it.
All right, my bad.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep working on this. You notice I had a thumbnail up ahead. I was here on time. Don't blame me for being what. Don't blame me for the show starting 3.5-4 minutes late. It's not my fault. I was here on time. I'm waiting on my two Slack co-hosts to get here, and I have no guarantee that they will. However, welcome, guys. Ayrton, how you doing this week, buddy?
Oh, doing all right. Work's been crazy, but I'm finally done with the big project I've been working on for like 4 months. All the stuff's off to the printer. It's all good.
All the stuff's off to the printer. What's off to the printer?
Oh, so remember when I made that first batch of like those cigar signs?
Yeah.
Well, all of the stores in my chain wanted them, and then we decided to revamp them. So I had to redesign them and then remake all of the ones I already had made, plus make I made like 206 different signs in total.
Okay.
Yeah. And why can I not find the stream on YouTube?
I don't know. The link is in the tweet.
That's fair. I'll just do that. Anyways, so yeah, that's finally done.
Debut episode of the Church of Failure, Dillard. Here, I'll send you the link if you want to come in and harass me for being stupidly drunk the last time we talked. I mean, just ridiculously, ladies and gentlemen, ridiculously should be dead drunk. Not there. Haven't even had a drink yet.
Oh, it's because I searched the wrong channel. Okay, I'm an idiot.
Well, I changed it to Church of Failure, like we talked about.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm an idiot.
What's up, Rune? How you doing this week, buddy? Good of you to finally show up. You know. And I can't hear Rune if he's talking.
Yeah, me either.
Anyway, we love you, and we know you were probably just taking care of Mama Rune. So, Dillard, you should have the link as well if you want to jump in and just completely fuck this show from the beginning. We are eventually going to talk about Batman, the movie. And
okay. Before we do that,
okay, all right.
So in light of all the craziness over the past few years,
hold on, Rune seems to be fooling with something. Rune, are you there? Just interrupt us. Like if we can hear you, we will acknowledge you. But until then, like I can't.
Oh,
I can't.
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Left. Okay. So anyway, so the past few years,
of course, there's a hi for you, Crosscom. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
I'm sorry. I just had to apologize to Dillard directly because, God, I was drunk. Jesus fucking Christ, I was shit faced.
Yeah, that was fun.
It
shouldn't have been on. If it was all privated, that would just a private call. That would have been fantastic.
Oh well. But, no, not for me.
But
anyway,
yeah. So past couple of years been crazy, right? We had the COOF, we had Black Lives Matter, we had whatever the fuck transgender swimmers at colleges. Now we're going to war with Russia. And, I had a few things I needed to say. Some of these things might be a little spicy. Rune, we can see your face.
Yeah, I know. Some of these things are not like the others. Can you hear me now?
We can.
I can hear you.
Excellent.
You have some background noise, though.
No, I got it. Okay. I'm going to throw his echo cancellation on. Okay. I got him.
Thank you.
It's lower now, but whatever.
So I prepared some things to say, and some of them are a bit spicy. So I actually have an app set up where I can beep every time I say something that's too spicy for YouTube.
Brother Ayrton, going to testify today.
Yeah,
you want to give that a test run and make sure there's no delay on that app.
Oh, there's not. I was testing it when you were smoking. That's what I was doing. Remember when I said I'm going to mute to test some stuff?
I'd like to hear this test live and not just take your word for it.
It's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So,
Christ.
Don't worry. It's already.
It bleeps him, but it bleeps him with an obscenity. Clearly.
So,
Dillard, now we can't hear you.
So
God
I just want.
Damn it.
So I just want to say the biggest problem in today's society is with the.
I don't know. Is this like a skit?
Okay.
Is this?
Hear Dillard now. Yep.
Is
testify. Fucking testify.
And also I have a major problem with the.
Yep. Them too. Yep.
Oh, and don't forget those dirty.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know this bit. This is a good bit.
Anyways, so that's all I wanted to say. Just get that over with.
All right. Well, I'm sure the Polish people will be very, very offended. So, moving on. Dillard, what's up, buddy? I needed to apologize to you directly for just how fucking hammered I was, man. Good Lord.
You were drunk?
Yes, and instead of being on massive amounts of amphetamine, which is the normal case, I was on massive amounts of alcohol. That's a joke.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me, sir, that you're not powered by amphetamine and ice cream? I was told the cream rises to the top.
Well, I'll explain it to you like this.
The cream rises to the top, man.
I should be, based on the amount of children that I have, I should definitely be on amphetamines at all time because I don't think I've slept more than 7 hours in 10 years.
Okay. The 10 years is the important qualifier because I was about to call you a fucking lightweight.
Anyway, what's new with you, Dylan?
2 hours.
Oh, nothing much. Just plugging along, working steadily.
Oh yeah.
Everything's going great.
Excellent.
Kids are doing fine. Work is fine.
Yeah, you sound really convincing. I definitely believe you.
I mean, I would assume it's exhaustion. It's exhaustion.
No, I've been drinking jingle juice.
Oh, okay. All right.
How did you get my semen?
Oh, God, no.
Well,
Anyway.
I got a birthday party to attend in about 30 minutes. My niece is turning 21, and everybody's pretending that she hasn't been drinking since she was 16.
Right. You know, as is the standard.
Because we've never done this before.
Well,
Oh my goodness!
I
just got a message from my wife saying my leg hurts. I twisted the upper portion. What does that mean?
The thigh.
Instead of
She
twisting
pulled
the
her
ankle,
thigh.
she pulled her thigh or what? Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you have to assume the upper is above knee, because otherwise you twist your calf, right?
Or hip.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah, hip. But actually, while we have Dillard here, I think we should jump into the copyright issue because Dillard and I have talked professional wrestling before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where the fuck is Larry?
Yeah, see, I've been asking this as well.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Rena.
How you guys doing?
So,
Hey, the all-important female voice on this important issue.
I thought that I was going to be contributing that.
well, you are.
Hold on, let me take my pants off then.
Oh God!
Oh, Jesus
Christ!
Look at this bump on my brow. I gotta ask you guys a question and give me a serious answer.
Okay.
Do I look like a fucking caveman?
Yes.
Kind of, yes.
God damn it!
But
I mean, sorry, ooga booga.
Look at this brow.
Ayrton, you can't say ooga booga. That's their word.
Racist.
You fucking racist.
We are going to talk about the topic, ladies and gentlemen. So, have you heard about the lawsuit that WWE has going on with Randy Orton's tattoos in their video game?
No.
No, I don't watch wrestling like that.
Well, apparently in WWE like 2K22 or whatever, the new video game, the likeness of Randy Orton has come under fire because the tattoo artist who did the tattoo said that she didn't give her copyright to the WWE for reproduction. Now, my thought is, once you get a tattoo, doesn't that become part of your copyright to your likeness?
I would say yes.
Like, I understand that maybe I can't go out and take your tattoo and put it on T-shirts and sell that. And,
Why not?
you know,
You already paid for it. It's on.
No, well,
It's on your
no,
body.
that's like me paying you for a commission of the buckler. That doesn't mean that I can go and make merch of the buckler, does it?
Sure, it does. You can make
well,
all the merch you want with that one picture.
Fair.
Here's the real problem, and I am not advocating this
Like
bullshit
DC,
because
it's like DC commissioning me to do a picture of Batman.
see, here's the real problem, and I'm not advocating this bullshit because it's a very preliminary science. But for about 30 years, I want to say, tattoos are no longer permanent. Right? You go to the tattoo artist, you get the needles put in, they add with the ink and the paint, and it's now in your skin.
That's not how tattoos work.
You have a tattoo, but they have developed a surgery. You can get a reasonably expensive surgery where they use a laser to remove your tattoos.
It's actually not that expensive anymore.
No, I'm sure it's not.
Well, not only that, but
it doesn't actually remove the tattoo, Rune. It actually just takes the pigment off. You can still see where the actual scar where the needle went in is if you look. So it doesn't actually remove it. It just
I don't believe, Mr. McCartney, that your semantics are going to get us any closer to the point of this.
I just wanted to make it clear that we understand what it's actually doing.
Let
him finish.
What I'm getting at is that at one time you would have deflected this entire question by saying that the tattoo is permanent and is therefore a permanent physical part of the person, and they can't be separated. You can't say, "Oh well, I own the image on his likeness." It's like, no, it's on his body. It's his fucking likeness now, right?
Can they get the person that gave Brock Lesnar that chest tattoo and charge him for all the money they lost because of that?
Well, not only that, but and just to answer your point, Rune. Yes and no, because again, I can go and get a bat symbol tattooed on my chest, just like it appears on the bat suit.
Right.
It doesn't make the bat symbol mine.
Right, but the thing is that
but it doesn't make it the tattoo artist either, and that's a whole different part of what I'll bring up later.
Well, what I'm getting at is that when we're talking about a pre-removal era, right, you wouldn't argue that the tattoo by itself is the copyright-related material. It'd be the entire likeness of the individual. For instance,
it's kind of a bunk argument though, because even though they're permanent, cover-ups have always been a thing. You've always been able to remove that image from yourself in some form or fashion.
And you can cover them up with makeup. You can do a cover-up tattoo over it.
Right. Well,
I don't think that's a valid argument.
Skin grafts.
Yes.
Right, but the reason I'm bringing this up though is because over in Lucha, okay, everybody wears masks, and if somebody gets demasked, they don't actually leave the industry. That's a theater, okay. So various guys will get tattoos, so you know who's under the mask, even though they're wearing the mask, right? Like El Rey, he's got the big wings. Everybody
Rey
knows
Mysterio.
those wings. Yeah.
Well, Rey Mysterio, I mean, he's tatted up like a fucking gangbanger.
But all of those tats are unique to his individual being, right? At least on some level.
Let's let the lady get in.
Okay.
I said, Cholo's baby, he's running with his peoples. I said
619, dog. 619.
619.
I can say it because I'm half Hispanic.
Well, here's the thing, though, with tattoos being, quote unquote permanent in your argument, just because it's on your skin doesn't mean that the artist doesn't have the copyright to it in a certain extent. However, I think that a good lawyer could make the argument on several different fronts, one of which being as soon as you apply it to someone's skin, their likeness incorporates that tattoo in a limited copyright sense.
There's a reasonable assumption that more than himself is going to see it.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but if his likeness is sold, which he has the right to do as a human being, if he allows his likeness to be used in any form or fashion, that tattoo is now part in a limited copyright sense. Now, I think that the broader discussion comes up when you bring up a subject like Goldberg, whose tribal tattoo became his entire like logo and brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a gray area for me. I don't know that you could argue that I could merchandise that tattoo if it was someone's original. I mean, it's tribal, so I mean, you'll lose that battle every day in court as an artist.
Well, tribal is an entirely different series of fish, actually.
Well, I'm talking about American, like, classic tattoo tribal, not like Maori tribal.
What I want to talk about with Randy Orton nonsense is does him having this tattoo, is the tattoo the draw, and in what amount does this draw equate to money? And what do you think she would be able to prove? That people buy this video game because Orton's tattoo is so cool and it's hers?
That's another. Yeah, well, that's another avenue.
It seems like it's very. It seems like it's so far out of the realm of like reasonable assumption that just kick her ass out of court.
It doesn't absolve the copyright issue though. Go ahead, Rune.
Well, there's that, and then there's the escalation of it. As I mentioned in our chat, and I was hoping Larry would be here. I'm hoping people will be, with legal perspective would be here. Because, as I mentioned, Maori tattooing is this indigenous artistry that's really important to their culture, right? And they've been putting Maori tattoos on anyone who joins the tribe for centuries, right? So there are just straight up white Maori dudes.
Well, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a style of Maori tattooing for non-tribesmen called the tomoko.
No. Tomoko is the traditional. The non-traditional for non-Maoris is a different word. The thing is they invented it. They invented a version of their tattooing for people to utilize who weren't them, and they actively endorse it. They're like, yeah, no, we love that you guys love our look. Just don't use our traditional ritual.
Or what?
Tattooing.
What are they going to do? To hell with them.
Well, that's the thing, is that while their position's unenforceable and you can't really stop anyone from doing it, no matter how shitty it is, if we start saying, well, the tattoo artist owns the copyright, it's like, okay, does that mean that the tribe owns the copyright to their tribal iconography? Do you have to pay the tribe?
What is this conversation actually about? Is this conversation about like the morality of what she's doing, or are you actually trying to? No, are you actually trying to glean? Are you actually trying to glean from the four knuckleheads on the panel here whether or not this is legally like, does it hold water?
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to glean from it. I'm trying to figure out like the common sense version of like where an average person falls on
right. And
because when I first heard it, hold on. Okay. When I first heard it, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. Again, because I immediately go to, well, I have tattoos. If someone takes my picture and I license that picture to Shutterstock as a stock image for me holding up a coffee cup with one of my tattoos peeking out, okay, I shouldn't have to pay the tattoo artist because their work is on me in this photo of myself. However, apparently there's a legal argument to be made that it could potentially happen. And I wanted to see where the common sense thing fell on it, because I follow a lot of legal shit and I understand that it's fucking absurd the way our legal system works in regard to shit like copyright and trademark and whatnot. But just as a guy on the streets, I look at this and I go, this should have never, like, a lawyer should have laughed at this woman when she tried to do it the first time.
Right. Well, that actually brings up to my point pretty nicely. So all of my tattoos that I've had, I've designed and sketched them out myself before bringing them to the artist. So technically, they're my designs. He just put them on my body.
Well,
so that all I'm saying is that adds a whole nother layer.
That doesn't make him an artist. That makes him a dentist.
Well, the argument could be made, and this kind of loops back around to comic books, and not to throw a jab at Stan Lee, but he's been accused of, because he conceptualized characters that were created by other people, that he owns the copyright to those things. And to that point, anytime I give my artist an idea, their work is just as much mine as theirs once they draw it, because it was my idea, and that's not how it works. Bueller.
Yeah. I was thinking through that point a bit. But
like when I sat down in the chair to get, I've got a comedy and tragedy tiki mask because of some weird scars that I got by getting hit by a car. It looked like eyes on like a mask, and I wasn't going to be an idiot and get a V for Vendetta mask tattooed there. So I got a comedy and tragedy version of like tiki mask to harken back to Crash Bandicoot a little bit. And that was wholly my idea, but I didn't sketch anything out. I just said, "Hey, you're a great artist. I've seen your freehand work. Here's what I want." I conceptualized it. She drew it. It's hers. She did it. Just because I gave her the idea, there was no contract saying that I had any ownership of this image. I have no copyright to it, except in the sense that it's part of my likeness now. Like, I don't think I can go and take my tattoos and sell merch of them without that copyright, without her having some form of legal claim. Now, in a WWE video game, to Dillard's point, Randy Orton's tattoos aren't a draw. You can put fucking clip art sleeves on Randy Orton, and most people aren't really going to notice. Like, your true diehard Mark-ass fans will. But most people are going to look at it and say, Randy Orton, tattoos in the right place, RKO out of nowhere, good game.
Yeah, the legal point also, and I brought this up in our private chat, is tattoos are technically used legally to identify people.
Right, it becomes part of your likeness.
Right. So
that's what I'm saying. Common sense states that this should have never been.
Right. So I'm saying, even though you could make some roundabout arguments like you gave the person the idea, but they drew it out, yada, yada, yada. Legally speaking, a tattoo is used as an identifier as part of your likeness. Same as hair color, eye color, height, fingerprints, whatever the fuck. So, no, a lawyer should have looked at this artist and gone, "You're a fucking idiot. Get out of my office."
All right. Well, final thoughts, everybody else. I saw it. I thought it was weird, but somewhat interesting.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting discussion, but this lady's an idiot.
Well, I'll be interested to see how it goes forward, whether WWE settles to avoid the headache or if it actually goes to court.
I hope that it resolves in the most ridiculous way possible, and in a couple of years, or the next 6 months, we see a debate about NFTs based on tattoos, based on things on people's bodies by artists.
Well, that reminds me. So there was another point that I wanted to bring up about that. So, Church, let's say you and me went into a tattoo shop and we decided to be super gay and get matching tattoos, right? Same tattoos.
No. Never again.
Yeah, I'm not falling for this one again. Same tattoos, same artists, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be identical because of human error. There are going to be minute differences.
Not only human error, as soon as you take a 2D image and you put it on 3D skin, it warps, it shifts, it changes.
That too. But they're not going to be the same thing. So even if somebody was to get his tattoo because they like to jerk off while they watch WWE,
right,
it's not going to be the same tattoo. So that's another aspect that I think is should be talked about with that.
All right. I've got one final point, but I want to let Dillard and Miss Rena get in before.
I don't have anything to contribute because I know about this.
Well, you create IP, so I mean, if somebody were to do something similar with something like, if somebody got a buckler tattoo or a tattoo of your character, would it, they can't just go and make T-shirts of it. They can't put it in a create a character mode as a design without at least crediting and paying you, right?
Yes. Well, the create a character thing in a video game, that's I don't know about that. I think as long as they're not making money off of it, I'm okay with it.
Well, they're absolutely making money off of this video game. You just have to prove that Randy Orton's tattoos are part of that.
Yeah. I would say I use that create a character. I thought you think like creating a character in game that just happens to look similar to character.
Well, in WWE, you can give your created custom characters the tattoos of your favorite wrestler. At least you used to be able to. You could create a character with The Rock's famous Brahma Bull back in, like, what was it, 2004? But anyway, like...
Did you just say 2004?
Yeah. Anyway, Dillard, anything?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of sour grapes, and there's a lot of thinking nowadays that you're entitled to things that you're just not. And if somebody comes to me, this is a whole. I used to do tattoos, right?
Right.
And people will come to me all the time and say, "Hey, this is what I want. Something like this. Can you come up with something?"
Mm-hmm.
Sure, of course, right? That's part of the job of being a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Is somebody saying, I want something that kind of is like this, and then you fill in the blanks because you're the creative. That's why you're not getting paid, McDonald's wages for just flipping a burger and doing things. You have to come with a creative
McDonald's wages
solution.
are pretty good. McDonald's
Shut
wages
up,
are better than they're better than an apprentice tattoo artist were when you were doing it, I'll bet. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to get that in there.
I'm sure you did.
Well, get something else in later.
Just because I came up with a solution to a problem doesn't mean I own the fucking thing. If you pay it, you pay for it. I give it to you. Now you're not saying, "Hey, Dillard, I really like your Buckler comic book character. Can you give me a tattoo of your Buckler comic book character?" And then that Buckler comic book character is in WWE 2K4 or whatever, and it's getting passed around. That's not what's happening here. It's just a regular ass tattoo.
Right.
It wasn't something that the tattoo artist came up with, and that's her signature thing.
Well, it might be, though. I mean, these famous people... I can pull up Randy Orton's tattoos. We haven't looked at them. I feel like that would be prudent.
Do it.
Well, while you're doing that, I do have an interesting thought to my brain pan.
Who said it was interesting?
I did. Because Dillard said a magic word that we've been overlooking the entire way through. He said, if you're an apprentice tattoo artist, tattoo artistry.
I never used the word apprentice. That was
I did that.
Oh, that was true.
And he was an artist. I don't know that he was actually giving tattoos. I was just saying.
But here's the thing, though. Tattoo artistry is still gilded, essentially, right? It has apprentices, it has masters, and it has intermediate students. Meaning that logically, unless the person doing the tattoo is themselves a master with their own shop, maybe they don't even own the art that they do. Maybe the art belongs to the house.
Maybe they usually don't. They're usually what's called, they do flash tattoo art. This is the art you see up on the wall. It's called flash tattoo art. They buy that. It's like what do you call that? It's like, remember the
clip
old
art.
Clip art? It's like that. You buy a bundle You put it up there. People say, I like that anchor with wings on it. Put me that,
Right. Well,
that's what it is.
I'm saying.
Now, the only reason I'm saying that this lady might have some kind of right is if, for instance, she's very famous for doing stylized sets of dice with eyeballs and wings. If that's her thing, right? If she's famous for that.
Right.
And then Orton got that sprawled across his chest. And that's his main thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is my logo.
Like
now.
the sword. Like the sword with fucking Brock Lesnar.
Yes, like that. That's the only way that this lady has any kind of validity to anything she's talking about.
It looks like just a shitload of tribal, maybe some wings and roses, a bunch of skulls.
Yeah, it's a sleeve. It's a bunch of gobbledygook.
Yeah, like I can't really see anything specific about these skulls.
Nondescript writing.
Yeah, I can't see anything specific about the skulls themselves that may make them unique. But I feel like you really can't claim any ownership over any of this.
Like if you're Andy Warhol and you did a tattoo on somebody of some soup can,
right?
And,
of four color.
They're trying to use that as their thing. You would say, "Hey, hold on a second there."
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
If this artist would have copyrighted this particular design on his arms beforehand, like before she gave him the tattoo, I could see a better argument. Oh, that's bad.
Here's the digital ones. Yeah.
That's not even.
That's not the character. That's the Sims. That's a Sims resource.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that doesn't even look anything like what's on his arms.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't see anything unique enough that you would like. Maybe her thing is tribal with bright yellow outlines. Maybe that's it. But I don't feel like you can copyright that.
That's all I gotta say. You know what? I design a lot of things for a lot of people. People say, "Hey, can you?" I'm doing a comic book. I create people all the time. I need 47 people in the background. I'll create 47 unique individuals. That doesn't mean I give a rat's ass about them or that I have any kind of legal right, nor should I.
Right.
It's just work. It's just busy work.
Now, Dillard, can you design me a tattoo to go on my penis?
Just say no now.
To go on my penis, but
only if you let me put it in my mouth.
Hold on.
Oh,
you can, but I want the tattoo to be of my penis, but like 4 inches longer.
I get it. You're playing 3D chess, and I like where you're going with this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Look, Ayrton, you remember last weekend when you did the DMT and went to get a Jacob's ladder, but they basically it was more of a Jacob's step stool.
Hey, I just want to make this clear. I have the world's biggest micro penis.
Good job.
So
it's always good to have goals.
so what you're saying is it's more of a Jacob's speed bump.
No, it's a step ladder. It's not like my real ladder.
All right, so moving right along.
Thank God.
There was a meme.
These are your friends, Miss Reyna. You know that,
right? Yeah, no, I mean,
she loves us.
You're here on your own free will.
Mistakes were made.
Being the month of March, there was a meme put out in the Twitter group chat that back in the 80s, we needed a darker and grittier Batman movie. And then in the 2000s, we needed a darker and a grittier Batman movie. And now in 2022, we need a darker and grittier Batman movie. So, the Batman is coming, guys.
Well, the Batman is here.
Is it officially released?
Yeah.
I thought it was later in the month.
Right behind you, Stillwell.
No, I thought it was later in the month. What the fuck?
No, it's out today. Today.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
I mean,
I'm topical then.
You also came out today, Dillard.
I seen it.
How was it?
It was the best movie I ever saw.
How was it really?
It was that.
No shit. You actually enjoyed it.
The thing is, I'm not a real big fan of most of the Batman movies. Matter of fact, my favorite Batman movie ever is probably The Dark Knight Rises.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
man, so you're really not a good metric to ask this question to.
No, not at all. I'm not a fan of shit movies. I'm a fan of great movies.
No,
and this
Dillard's
movie
actually
went out of the realm of superhero Batman movie and into the realm of great movie.
Here's the thing: Dillard is actually the ideal person to ask.
Well, I mean, I know you said you had to get to a birthday party.
Because he's
don't let us keep you.
Because he's a movie guy.
Hold on, Rune. The man's on a schedule.
All right.
If you have to go, I understand. But if you would give us a brief rundown on what you thought.
I thought it was a very good movie, and I do mean it was a good movie. I'm not qualifying it as a superhero movie, just as a regular ass movie. It was good, and some of my favorite movies are, the Sherlock Holmes movies, even though they're not, great. The idea
I do love
Holmes
those.
Style, yeah, they're just to me they're just fascinating. And this was like, I didn't want it to be another, brawling, Ben Affleck killing people, snapping necks with superhuman strength, and it's like disappearing into nothingness immediately. No, I wanted it to be more realistic. I liked the angle of the world's greatest detective, and I thought it was an absolute it became an actual film, in my opinion.
Now something you said there, and Rune, I know I'll let you get in here in just a second. The world's greatest detective angle. That's something that I think's been missing from Batman media for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
The man hasn't had to think beyond the tip of his nose. He just always had a plan. It was plot device.
Yes.
But you never see that process except for a very
and that's
rare
what
occurrence.
I liked about this. There was detective process.
Okay. All right.
I was like, oh.
All right.
And the thing is this, I mean, you could probably tell by my brow. I'm not a very smart man.
Right. Well, I mean, you can't save 15% or more on car insurance, right?
Right. Yeah. I can't write a smart character. They got somebody that was smart to write a smart character, and it came out good. What can I say? I thought it was great.
Well, go ahead, Rune. I have one big question that I want to ask, but I'm going to let everybody else get in.
What I was going to say is, in fact, that in a sense, Dillard's the ideal person to make a comment on this because he's, well, he likes comics. He's not the Batman is trying to kill me.
He's choking on. No, he's choking with Dillard's dick so far down his throat.
He's choking with the world's biggest micro penis.
I was saying,
I'm gonna have to sue you if you take my likeness.
Exactly. He's not a Batman guy, so he's not coming at it from the perspective we might have, where it's like, well, does it live up to the Batman comics? Does it properly show the lore and legacy of the? He's like, no, it's just a good movie, which I think is an ideal.
No, I think you guys realistically, you guys really got to get away from the whole. Does it live up to the lore and likeness and story of? I mean, this comic's been around for way too long for any one thing, not even a novel, to live up to the lore and likeness of the character.
Well, because my argument would be relative to what started this conversation, the idea of here we are, another gritty Batman, is that the only reason that whether or not a Batman film has grit matters, right, is because of the number of decades and the number of properties where Batman was a grit-lacking hero. He went from film noir detective, right, to Adam West, right? And
I'm sure every one of you guys has read the very first Batman comic, right?
Yeah.
Detective 27, yeah.
You mean the one where he has guns and kills people?
Little stories with the Joker and all the gas and all that nonsense and stuff.
I'll send you a copy, Miss Rena. You gotta read it.
But and then it's like, yes, Batman 89 was a darker interpretation of Batman relative to that time. And Dark Knight was a darker interpretation of Batman relative to the Joel Schumacher Batman movies. And then, this is a darker interpretation compared to Nolan? The dark is a cheap progression.
Is it a darker version than Nolan's, Dillard? like as somebody who's seen it, or have you seen it, Rune?
I wouldn't say it's darker. I would say it's more.
I've watched some clips. They're dealing with some pretty heavy subjects.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
But that
say,
doesn't necessarily make it dark.
I would say it's more grounded. So I guess you could say it's more visceral, more dark.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because there was some pretty. I mean, if you go back and watch some of, not even that far back, right? You go back and watch the 3 Nolan movies. It's pretty wacky,
Yeah.
So
well, it tries to stay grounded, but about halfway through with the Joker and Two-Face, it just kind of throws all that shit out the window.
Right. Even with the Al Ghul, it was like, oh God, take it easy.
It was me all along, Batman. He twirls his mustache, and the Scooby Gang unmask him.
Yeah. So I would say yes. I guess it went darker because it was like the movie The Joker, right? Because it was like, oh, it's more like something that could actually be.
Miss Rena, do you have anything you want to add or inquire?
No, I just want to know if the movie's good.
Well, according to Dillard, it is.
Well, let me tell you this: I wriggled in my seat a little bit, but that wasn't because the movie was boring. It was because it was long and I needed a cigarette.
And because you had a plug shoved up your ass?
That's correct, Aaron.
Now, biggest...
It was the model you made cast from me from your own micro penis.
Oh. I'm
glad you liked it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I hate all of you, except Miss Rena and Dillard. I love you guys. Basically Ayrton and Rune. I hate you too. Rune, you for not hitting Ayrton with the newspaper enough.
Well, no, he hasn't actually transgressed.
Hey, I hear the people outside. I'm gonna have to go right now.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me on.
Bye.
It's been a pleasure.
Always.
It's nice to see you, Miss Rena. It's great to see you again, Mr. McCartney. It's great to see you, Wolfman Hack and Church. Always a pleasure.
Big Dog. Next time. So, my biggest apprehension on this movie was Sparkly Vampire being Bruce Wayne. And my wife kind of reassured me about 3 months into production that this dude got completely fucking jacked for this role. So,
well, after playing loose and fast with us, that's the thing.
What do you mean?
You may not recall, but he did some goofing during the pandemic, where he was basically trying to infer that he wasn't working out. He was just sitting in his hotel room, eating burgers, getting fat, and being a prima donna. But I'm entirely certain that was just theater to distract people from the fact that the movie was going to be delayed.
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that's all Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck did for the role. They're like the Babe Ruth of Batman.
I will freely admit that after because I was, old enough to be there, having seen Ben Affleck's Daredevil, and then looking at his Bruce Wayne, it's like, holy shit! How many burgers did you slather on your face, Ben?
Well, he's also 20 years older.
No, I know. I don't want to say that. Yeah. I don't want to say he's not too old to be.
To be fair, Rune.
He's not old. He's everybody, to be Batman.
Everybody here has seen what both of us look like. Neither one of us need to be standing in this glass house throwing stones, buddy.
No. I'm just making the argument. You want us to believe that you're Batman and that you're doing your own stunts. Maybe not.
Fuck, I read the script wrong. It was Fat Man.
Yeah. I honestly believe it is a competition to determine who is a more inappropriate Batman, Ben Affleck or George Clooney. No,
George Clooney was the best.
Val Kilmer is the correct answer, Rune.
No. If we're talking, here's the thing. If we're talking physically, the Batman element.
Val
Kilmer's a great Batman.
No, physically, Adam West.
No. Fuck no.
Yeah. Adam West is hands down my favorite Batman. Unironically.
No, I love Adam West's Batman, but it's not a
he's
good
the only Batman that can
Batman.
be ridden like a skateboard.
Exactly.
Here's what I'm getting at, though. Then you have to say, okay, well, who makes the best Bruce Wayne? Right? And quite frankly, I don't believe it's Ben Affleck. Okay. George Clooney could sell me on being Bruce. George Clooney could sell me on being an older Bruce Wayne. I'm open
Michael
to that.
Keaton was the best Bruce Wayne.
Michael Keaton is an excellent Bruce Wayne.
I actually think Ben Affleck didn't do a terrible job with what he was given.
Well,
he wasn't an awful Bruce Wayne.
That's the real problem.
Christian Bale was probably the worst Bruce Wayne.
Yes, he was the worst Bruce Wayne. But no. Go
ahead.
Ben Affleck was actually pretty good.
Well, I was going to say that. See, I actually don't mind Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne, insofar as if you want to suggest that Bruce Wayne, as a human being that you interact with, is a little scary and a little out there because he's not really here. I believe it. Right, but no, I would actually say that the problem with talking about Ben Affleck's Batman is that Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne had terrible fucking stuff to work with. Okay, I'm just saying also that compared to the other Batmen, okay, he's a brick. I'm supposed to believe that this Batman is deft and capable and a martial artist, and it's like, no, he's a moving tank of a man. What the fuck? And then they put him in the bat suit with the puffy fake muscles.
They're not hockey pads.
Compared to,
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yeah, but then you compare it to the guy that's played Kal-El, who's actually that fucking ripped.
Which one?
Man of Steel. His name's probably back.
Brandon Ralph?
No, he's playing The Witcher.
Oh,
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill. Yeah.
Yeah,
mustache guy.
Yeah, you compare mustache guy to Ben Affleck's Batman in the big hockey pads, and it's stark. How
you don't
physically
you don't understand. She loves my mustache. Anyway, continue.
No, that's basically it. It's just.
By the way, any ladies out there, I'm offering buy one get one free on mustache rides all weekend.
All weekend. Anyway,
I'm just saying
what do you have to say on the Batman movies?
I thought you were going to ask her what she had to say on the mustache.
I don't really watch a lot of Batman movies. I'm not really that invested. The last Batman movie I saw all the way to was Batman Rises, Batman Returns, something.
Dark Knight Rises.
Christian Bale one.
The Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and the Dark
Batman
Knight
Begins.
Rises.
Yeah. But that was only for class. So yeah.
Michael Keaton will always be my Batman, and I'm very happy to see that DC's very at least trying to decide to take him to the next level and have him be like the Dark Knight Returns comic book Batman. But that's just
we need more films. We need Dark Knight Misplaced.
Yeah, somebody get Frank Miller on the phone and get him all the drugs he asked for.
The Batman was holding the map upside down, so got lost for a few hours.
Batman Albuquerque. Fear and Loathing in Gotham City.
Oh, I would. That needs to happen.
Absolutely.
That would be fucking
Hunter
amazing.
S. Thompson in the Batman mask, just doing lines of blow. Drinking Chivas Regal directly from the bottle. Waking up at 3 p.m., smoking weed at 6 p.m. to take the edge off of his day.
It's Hunter S. Thompson in a Batman mask and Commissioner Gordon. And not someone pretending to be Commissioner Gordon, just Commissioner Gordon.
So tying up a hooker with the grappling hook gun.
I know I briefly touched on it when we first started the show, Ayrton, before Rune and Miss Rena got here. And the search party's still out looking for Larry. I sent those guys in the jackets and the helmets to go find him.
Well, that's why you're not finding Larry. He's hiding from the guys he thinks is the government.
Do they have blue helmets? Because that's your problem.
That might be the problem. Maybe the armbands were a bit much. But
yeah, maybe.
See, you should have hit me with the newspaper there, Rune. God damn it, you're falling behind.
No, I stand by it. This is okay. Because, I mean, I love the idea that Larry is just living out the prisoner in a suburban environment. Being chased around by a guy going, "You are number 4!" He's like, "I am not a number."
He doesn't know he's been recruited to the octopus games. We couldn't afford squids. Anyway, no, we talked about it a little bit before the show started, but you'll notice that the channel name is the Church of Failure, and this is the debut episode of the Church of Failure variety show, where not all topics have to be comic related all the time. So if there's something like, I know Ayrton. Well, I mean, I'll figure out a way to tie Ukraine into the Secret Wars, but that's what's going on right now. So,
well, you got those Ukrainian accords that are preventing superheroes from doing things.
Yes, you can. That was my segue for you, Ayrton.
Can I just go on record for saying that I, for one, am against nuclear war?
Me too. 100%. At least in the southeast region of North America.
Can we Me Too nuclear war?
Well, unless the bomb is dropped on DC, then I'm okay.
I'm just saying. Let's cancel the war. It'll be great.
Here's the problem with that, Rune. Nuclear war has to touch somebody before it can be canceled, and the damage is done. Then
no, church,
DC.
Church. No, guys, remember, it doesn't have to be recent. It can be in the past. Nuclear weapons touched Japan in a very special way, and Japan didn't want it. So now we have to cancel nuclear arms.
That was atomic weapons, not nuclear. Checkmate.
I mean, fundamentally incorrect, but fine.
Look, we're not dropping any football-shaped things anymore. We're drone striking the shit out of people, and I don't know why.
I mean, the biggest problems with nukes is we dropped them on Japan, right? And then now we have anime and weebs. So that was definitely a mistake.
Well, here's the thing, and let me see if I can find the meme. I'll go ahead and continue. Like, Ayrton, I know you brought up Ukraine a little bit before the show. I assumed you had something to talk about. That literally was a segue for you.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't.
It's Ayrton. He's just shit posted.
Besides the fact that I'm tempted to go over there to get a free full auto AK.
Look, dude, apparently the criminals over there are living their best life right now.
They're not criminals. The Ukrainian government said if you acquire armor, if you steal stuff from the Russians, it doesn't count against your taxes.
No. I'm talking about the criminals that weren't criminal. They were criminals before this.
They released people in prison to go fight the Russians, allegedly.
Oh, sweet.
But no, the main thing is I want to go over there just to get a free AK.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my biggest thing. I mean,
that's all you want.
The whole thing.
Good luck finding ammo for that bitch stateside.
Yeah, but the dumb shit breaking into Ayrton's house doesn't know that.
But
no, well, you can just put glass and dirt in it, Rune, and it'll fire if you put enough gunpowder behind it.
Exactly.
I'm not kidding.
That's why AKs are great. But no, I just want to. It's crazy to me, Rune. I know you're a little bit more on the left side of center. Me and Church are a little bit more right wing. I'm probably more extreme than Church is, but it blows my mind.
I found the meme.
Okay.
By the way.
Oh yes, that meme. That one's fantastic. But it blows my mind that people on the right are sitting there going, doing the whole "I stand with Ukraine" or "Russia bad." Let's pour all this vodka we already gave them money for down the drain because that's going to make a fucking difference, you fucking retards. And they're believing all of this propaganda, even though they've said for the past 2 years that they don't believe the propaganda on the Hong Kong flu. That it makes no sense to me. None at all. And we've been constantly seeing over the past few days, like this happened. these people on Snake Island, they told Russia, fuck you, and then they all died. Oh, wait, no, Russia released a video, they're all alive. And then the Ghost of Kiev, wait, no, that was
Sam
training.
Hyde.
That was Sam Hyde and a training simulator video. Like, it's all just like...
I really wish you had said what my brain heard, which was Sam Hyde in a training bra.
I mean, probably. But it just blows my mind that all these people that have been saying... don't trust the government and propaganda for this goddamn flu.
For the best Batman goes to Sam Hyde.
But seriously, Church, you're seeing that too, right? All the same people that didn't believe any of the COVID stuff are standing firm on Ukraine.
No, honestly, dude, no. I checked out. I checked out as soon as I found out that we were sanctioning Russia. I was like, nope, not doing it. I'm not submitting myself to this. This is just going to make me hate everything more than I already do.
I mean, yeah, that's fair, but I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. But yeah, it just, I don't know. None of it makes sense. It's all bullshit. People are...
Nothing fucking makes sense, man. People are suing people over tattoos and video games.
Well, the biggest problem is that people are...
A sparkly vampire's the new goddamn Batman. The world is upside down. We've moved back to a universe where Berenstain is spelled Berenstein again. And Shazam was actually a movie.
Hold on. So the biggest problem with this whole conflict is people are approaching this from an entirely modernistic Western liberal point of view. That is not how Russia, the Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Poland, any of these Eastern European countries, they do not operate from the same ideology, same philosophies that we do in the West. They're saying, "Oh, Putin's this big madman. He's crazy."
Hold on.
That's not true.
Let me give a disclaimer really quick.
Okay. All right.
These are opinions, ladies and
opinions.
Gentlemen. We do not support ongoing military action against any country ever.
I was gonna get to that.
Well, you have to say it up front before YouTube is like, fuck you.
My bad. And, so no, I don't support Russia invading Ukraine, but people are approaching this from the wrong point of view. They are entirely refusing to actually dive into the ideology and the cultural realities that govern Eastern Europe. Well, and Ayrton, I can't remember the dude's name. He's a Russian philosopher who's basically like the modern day Rasputin to Putin, who has published numerous books on philosophy.
Well, hold on. Like, here's the thing, though, and you're thinking way too hard about it. Let's think about the demographic of the loudest percentile of people on the internet. It's like 16 to 24, right?
That's a small percentage.
No. 16 to 24-year-olds are the loudest percentage of people on the internet.
Oh, then yeah, you're right.
And the least informed.
And none of them were alive 30 years ago when Ukraine was Russia.
I didn't know that.
It hasn't been that long since that Band-Aid got pulled off.
Well, that's part of the reason why I'm so incredibly...
Historically speaking, we've been a country for a week, historically speaking. On the grand time frame of things, it hasn't even been the blink of an eye since Ukraine was Russia.
That's why I've been very dismissive of this conflict and not been following it as closely as one might otherwise expect I should. Because not only was I a youth at the tail end of the Cold War, but also, I'm a nerd, I read fucking books, and I've been telling people when it comes up in conversation, this has happened before, it's going to be a new neo-Soviet property or it won't, because this slap fight is...
real quick, I had to look up the guy's name. Alexander Dugin is the main modern Russian philosopher.
And I say that because this is actually a slap fight older than Soviet Russia existed.
Right.
Okay? Because before the Russians took the Ukraine for the Soviets, there was this little slap fight called the Napoleonics, where England wanted the Ukraine, and the Russians wanted the Ukraine, and a lot of other people wanted the Ukraine, and the Ukrainians wanted the Ukraine and got real good at fighting everybody to try and keep it, because everybody wants that access to the Adriatic, the Baltic, and the Black Sea, and they'll do anything to get it. It's about the control of foreign ports. It has nothing to do with anything else. No, it's not. There's no axis of evil here. This is an entirely economically based acquisition.
Actually, it runs much, much deeper than that. This is why I said people are not taking into account the difference in ideology between Eastern Europe and the West.
Sure, there are subjective complexities, but I'm just saying this isn't like a new random fight.
Well,
We've been fighting over this area of the world for a couple of 100 years.
Before we get deep into this, let's just not.
Yeah, really.
I wanted to bring it up and touch base on it and basically say that I am definitely not informed, because I think as a country we got no fucking business even caring that this is happening right now. Fuck them. As long as they don't launch their nukes, fuck them all. Let's make sure that we do everything in our power to get gas prices back down below fucking $7 a gallon.
You mean like drill our own oil?
It may be. I mean, there's an option, but
Well, I just want to point out. So Dugan, I've watched a couple of interviews with him because it's fascinating, right? And he talks about how Western liberalism specifically has.
We'll talk about this more in private. I don't want to spend the last hour of the show with you and Rune arguing ideology.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying this is the perspective. I just want to this one bit. It'll be quick, I promise.
Okay.
So he talks about Western liberalism being an ideology that is evil to the point that it creates individualism to such an extreme that you have no sense of culture and society and community anymore, which is
not
valid.
My culture or heritage.
It's a valid criticism, and that's really the main motivation. If you dig deeper into it, for Russia, is you have these separatist regions in Ukraine who identify primarily with Russia and Soviet philosophy, who want to leave Ukraine, and those are the areas that Putin's been quote unquote invading. And there's very, very many ideological and philosophical layers that are just being completely ignored for the narrative that, oh, Putin madman, he bad, he's Russian,
bad man.
And that's my main issue.
Are you saying this is Eastern Europe's version of Orange Man bad?
Yes,
except their Orange Man can wrestle bear.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Well, I mean, that's like your opinion, man, and I understand it. I don't know enough about the situation to thoughtfully contribute, so without getting into a deep philosophical debate, we can move right along.
Moving right along. Foot loose and fancy free.
Outside of that's what I had brought to the table. Larry usually fills in the dead air, and apparently I was efficient in getting the two topics I wanted to discuss out of the way. I hate you so much, Rune. Anyway, what do you guys have to discuss this evening, if anything?
I mean, I want to hear how you can tie Secret Wars into this Russia-Ukraine thing.
Bob, shut up.
That's actually pretty easy. This happened because alternate universe Russia got stuck beside our Russia when Battle World was formed. And God Emperor Doom has seen fit to allow, Putin, the czar of his area, to invade the neighboring area instead of keeping them separated.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And you know, the Ukrainians don't like that. They're like the Golden Age X-Men in the media right now. Anyway,
so
no,
well, I was gonna ask Miss Rena, how's your campaign's launching soon, right?
I'm gonna mute Rune for a minute.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I crossed into. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just Rune had a lot of background noise. I shut you. He can unmute whenever. I muted him because he had a lot of background noise going on while he was doing whatever he's doing.
I just crossed into 500 signups.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. If you want
going live,
sweet.
Yeah, if you want to put that link in the chat, and we'll get it in the description after the show.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And I plan to launch April 29th.
By April 29th, any particular reason?
At that point, people will have gotten their tax returns.
Okay, all right. I mean, legit answer right there, ladies and gentlemen. Like, no bullshit.
Thinking ahead.
These motherfuckers gonna have money by then.
Yes.
All right, I got your mailing list here. You want me to put your Twitter in the description as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll get that. You guys keep talking.
So, when you actually launch live, you're going to come on and we'll do a full discussion about your project, right?
Yeah.
Yay!
Awesome. Yeah, because I'm really into this. I think this sounds just up my alley. So I'm super excited.
Magical Girls versus Lovecraftian Beyonce.
So
that, and the music background, you know, I love that.
Who's the like of the Lovecraftian monsters and outer gods and whatnot? If you had to say this one's probably my favorite or my biggest inspiration, who would you pick? That's not Cthulhu.
I would have to say Nyarlathotep.
Oh, the
Black Pharaoh.
Or isn't he the Wandering Chaos or some shit? The Crawling Chaos?
He's the Crawling Chaos. He's by far the most human of the outer gods. And that's what makes him so
in some form or fashion, right?
Yeah. In terms of his personality, he's a little bit too invested in humanity.
All right. I'm gonna put this in the private chat just so I can copy and paste it after the show.
My favorite Lovecraftian deity is not even Lovecraftian, but everyone thinks it is because they don't know what they're talking about.
What, the deep ones?
No, The King in Yellow by Ambrose Bierce.
Oh, okay.
You just don't like fun.
He's not Hastur. He was never Hastur.
Aren't they the same? Isn't the
No, that is a confabulation that other people made later.
How dare you mansplain to our?
I'm gonna keep doing it. Hastur is Lovecraftian, I believe, but the King in Yellow appears in a book called The King in Yellow, and it comes from a city called Carcosa that was originally written of by Ambrose Bierce. He's not specifically owned by anyone, and he doesn't really appear in Lovecraft stuff until long after Lovecraft is dead, because other people started saying, hey, this is like that. They must be the same.
Correct.
Which is like, no.
Everyone just conflates the two, so I just took it by word.
They do. I want to name the author because I'm failing. I can't remember. I've got the book next to me and I can't remember the name. It's stupid.
You could just look over and see who the author is on the book if it's next to you. You don't have to remember. You could just read it.
No, that's the thing. I'm looking over. Like, where's that book? Because it's over here.
You guys want to know how big of a pleb I am as far as Lovecraftian shit goes?
Yeah.
All of my Lovecraftian lore actually stems from the fact that I was fascinated by a set of books from James P. Lovegrove
Hmm.
with Sherlock Holmes being part of Lovecraftian lore and fighting off the outer gods, and Moriarty actually taking the place of an outer god by the name of Reluloig.
I can dig it. That actually sounds kind of
It
fun.
was fucking fascinating for what it was. It's probably plebeian level shit to these fucking Lovecraftian scholars out there.
No,
so much fun.
No. Because I'm a big fan of a stupid book called Sherlock Holmes and the Servants of Hell by Paul Kane.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I can't judge you for liking crap because that movie or that book rather is garbage. It's what if Sherlock Holmes had to go up against the Cenobites?
Yeah.
So Sherlock versus Hellraiser. But no,
That
the King.
sounds fun.
But the King in Yellow was written by Robert W. Chambers, which is a different dude.
Real quick, I gotta know how many Cenobites did James watch him shoot with his trusty revolver?
I don't recall.
Okay.
It gets very nutsy because at one point Sherlock Holmes becomes Cenobited.
My man shoots a night gaunt in my books.
No, Sherlock would.
No, fucking what's his name? Watson was the badass in these books. Like Sherlock Holmes was smart as shit.
That's because he
could fight and whatnot, but
that's
because
Watson
would shoot a motherfucker.
Well, that's because in actual Sherlock works that actually give a shit. Yeah, no, Watson's a badass. He always was. He was only
he's a fat doctor walking around with a pistol in his back. Like, I'll shoot a motherfucker. I don't care.
He's only a doddering oaf in old Basil Rathbone films, and people think that that's how he actually is in book, and it's not. The man went to Afghanistan in the 19th century for a war.
And that's the pistol he still uses.
I know.
Anyway,
here at the Church of Failure, we sometimes nerd out about really nerdy shit.
Yeah, but great segue. We've talked about Miss Rena's comic. What's going on in the world of board games that we need to be aware of, and I have a little bit of a rant when you're done.
I know nothing about board games.
Not as much as you would think, as far as I know, except for the
Me
same
either. That's why we have a wolf.
I know. I'm trying to tell you. You want to know? Yeah.
No, I was talking to Miss Rena.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
She said she didn't know anything about board games, and I said that's why we have a wolf, and I keep cutting him off.
Basically, the same arguments being had over and over again. And what's unfortunate is that I just got a new game in my brand new baby hands, and I've thumbed through it, and I'm like really disappointed in the content. I'm very upset about shit games. I want to know why people keep thinking they can make a role-playing game and then half-ass it and think they'll get paid full price.
Now, when you say it's a shit game, what quantifies that?
Okay, so in order for a role-playing game to be good, it needs to have interesting and immersive lore, which it does, and that's good. It has to have easily understood and harnessed mechanics, right? And those mechanics, though a separate part of the game, need to reinforce the themes and the ideas of your setting, right? Because it's both together, just like comics where it's art plus writing, and you can't really do one without the other. Games are rules plus lore, right? And I backed, in order to give to my friend of mine who's currently trying to find a house, the Avatar: The Last Airbender role-playing game. And having it in my hands, having the advanced copy, and seeing all the interesting bits, I'm like, oh wow, this is really neat and really immersive and really flavorsome. It makes me give half a shit, and the mechanics are ass. Right?
And how does that tie into Secret Wars?
Well, because Secret Wars is a giant toy commercial. And Secret
Not
Wars
only that, but Secret Wars started when the Fire Nation attacked.
Right. But this is contrasted by something equally skeevy. Sanguine Games, the people that do Ironclaw, the people who did not publish my book I wrote for them, put out their advances of the Book of Coral, the Big Book of Piracy, for their setting, and there was much groaning from people who got it because we're like, where's the content, right? Because you made a game for furry pirates with no shipboard combat rules and no ships. Fuck you. So they've released the Nautical update, which has all that stuff now put in the book, right? Except how they describe their thought process for that content, it is very clear that it's like, we thought we could get away with it without giving it to you, but you were really mad. So we went back to the drawing board and we wrote it. Aren't you happy now? And my opinion is, why didn't you write it from the beginning? Why didn't you just do that stuff? Because that was obviously the intention of your book. Why did you think you could get away with something on the slide? So it's not just one company or one group of people. It is a consistent problem in the role-playing game sphere. But a lot of people seem to think that if they can just make bare minimum effort content and you buy it, they've succeeded. On the other hand, I would say anybody who's interested, if the Kickstarter is still running, check out Cyborg, which is Cyberpunk Morkborg. If you ever wanted to be cyberpunk and black metal, because that's actually a game that's fun.
Well, I brought this up on the Gospel of Comics before in a rant, but the key things that you brought up is the reasoning of a failed RP or RPG or whatever, a tabletop.
Yeah,
I think are a lot of the pitfalls that Magic the Gathering is falling into right now. And have been for a while. They're putting a lot of emphasis on the Modern and Commander formats that don't have dedicated storylines. And so every other product that you get isn't really backed by any lore. And compared to the lore you got during, say, the Weatherlight saga, which was a few decades ago at this point, you got 3 full novels for the, like, okay, I know, Miss Rena, you probably don't play Magic the Gathering, correct?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Do you have friends that do at least? Have you seen it done? Have you laughed at people that did it?
Yeah, a bit.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, at least you understand what we're talking about. Magic the Gathering, I like to think that it's almost like the grandfather of card games and collectible card games that actually stuck, because it gave rise to Pokemon, which I think would have survived on its own without Magic the Gathering. However, Wizards of the Coast had the right distribution at the right time to make it huge on a popular... Anyway, the whole different thing. When Magic the Gathering was probably at its peak for me as a 30-something-year-old, 18, 20-year veteran of the game. Well, shit, longer than that. I was 11, so, more than 20 years. There was a rich lore that got me interested in the story of the game. I mean, every set that came out had a novel that correlated with it. So, I mean, you could read about the exploits of the characters on your cards. And that doesn't appeal to a lot of people. And to kind of counteract what Rune was saying, you can have a good game without a story. I mean, people watch football every Sunday. There's no story there unless you follow the players' lives and their dietary habits and all that shit. But, numbers and power gaming are a thing in tabletops and video games and everything. There are people that don't give a shit about any lore and just want the big number to go bigger. I mean, that's the mentality of all, like, mobile games and shit, right? You make big number get bigger. no brain thought needed.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's the same in Magic. I mean, you can absolutely like optimize and just make a Magic the Gathering deck that will consistently get you victories in certain metas. But for people like me, it was the story that kind of got me hooked and made me care about a card that might only cost 25 cents because that character was my favorite from the book when I was younger. Well, nowadays, what used to be 3 books is condensed to a blog post most of the time. And it's kind of horseshit. Like, I grew up with full fleshed out stories of full like worlds and shit that would shift around and intermingle, and people would travel between them, and there were consequences that came back like 6 to 8 books later that you hadn't thought about, or that you had to go back and read about what caused that consequence because it was so fucking interesting. Whereas now it's just like, oh, here's product, get excited for it. Here's every fucking alt art of every card. Get excited to buy product. Buy product. Wait, here's more product coming. Buy that product too. But there's nothing tying anybody who loves this game for what it was to it anymore. It's all about finding the one card out of 1,000 that they print every 3 months that's worth more money than you paid for it. And I don't know, it kind of lost a lot of oomph for me. Like, if it wasn't for the community, I probably wouldn't play the game anymore. So I definitely see where Rune's coming from in that regard, that a board game needs that lore, but as a counter argument, apparently there are people out there that just care about making big number go bigger, and power gamers in D&D and shit like that have always been a thing. We affectionately call them murder hobos. We're just going to go through every town we can and kill everything that we can and collect the most gold and buy the best gear and, you know, cast Eldritch Blast every chance we get. But that's not the spirit of the game, right? Like, the spirit of the game is you can be having a good time and still have lost. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. Ayrton, you're not really much of a gamer. Do you have anything to add?
No. I got jack shit to add to this discussion right now.
I'm a video gamer, not tabletop or card gamer.
Oh, what kind of video games do you play?
Hack slash fighting, a little bit of shooters.
What's the game you're most excited about right now that's out that you have played?
That's out. Okay, I have to think for a moment. I'll say Persona 5 Royal. The game that I'm anticipating that's coming out this year is Bayonetta 3.
Okay. Did you play Digital Devil Saga when it was out? Shin Megami Tensei?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that shit.
Yeah, they just announced the sequel.
Well, the thing was, do you remember the theme song "Danger"? Danger, falling in love like this, so dangerous. In a game where you were children that became demons and ate other children demons.
It is at this point that I feel I should mention our sponsors. The Church of Comics, the Church of Thunder.
Yeah, Raycon Shadow Legends.
Right, and is brought to you by
Raycon Shadow Legends.
And is brought to you by the color 2 and the number purple.
Correct.
And,
I kind of want to make a meme of a bunch of Shadow Legends characters with the Raycons in their ears now.
Right, yeah.
And Burger King, when your mama wants surf and turf and doesn't care how you get it.
Right, when you go to Portugal and they won't let you in any real restaurants for not having your Vax card, you can always go to Burger King.
Exactly.
I will say, I've been playing a new game. I've been playing these games with these hoes. So
I was gonna say, what's the game you play? You whisper in her ear that her sister was better and see how long you can hold on. That's rape, Ayrton.
No. I say you remind me of your mother.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
Well, that's the secret, Church, Ayrton. That's the thing. You guys gotta get off your dead asses, and we gotta resolve our
Church
season.
Is married, ladies and gentlemen. By the way,
we gotta resolve our season of World of Darkness.
Oh yeah, that's right. We do.
So for the season 2, Miss Rena can come play with us.
Rune,
I never played that.
I have
you to come with us on season 2.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Since it's so inconsistent in being able to get people to show up and have a timely thing,
yeah.
How hard would it be for you and your sadistic mindset to just tell us the story of how we all die a violent death and the game has to be restarted?
I mean, that's super easy.
Barely an inconvenience, right?
Less than an inconvenience.
I mean, I feel like at this point our characters deserve slow and painful, and I should probably be merged with Cool Ride for the rest of eternity for my sins.
No. You guys get the easy out because of where you were going, what was about to go down. So if you guys all walk into the Elysium,
we still have to kill that one bitch.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. No,
okay,
Vendetta does overtake my rational suicide.
The hate
I
boner
forgot that I forgot I had a hate boner in this game already. Unfinished business is not something Church leaves on the table. No, I do have to murder the leader of the vampires in that club.
If we want to do like the longer marathon several hours game, I'll record it and cut it up and we can upload it to the channel.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. We might we might gravitate over. We might gravitate over to
finish it up and I'll record the whole thing.
Here's the thing. I can set up shop in the bedroom during the daytime someday when you're off and Rune has the time.
Okay.
And we can do this maybe over on Twitch.
Ooh.
And then you can take the VOD and chop that up so we can upload it to YouTube.
Okay.
So that'll give us that foot into a different platform, and it will also judge the interest. Like, is there a way you can craft a kind of a rundown of what we've been through at this point for people just jumping in over on Twitch?
Yeah, I can make a thing.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind letting you diatribe for 20 minutes to a half an hour, getting us us up to speed.
Well, here's the thing: if we really need to talk to somebody who has some experience in this area for how do we present and advertise the work on the Twitch, talk to Grim Jim.
Yeah, I've got him and Broski on tap for something like that.
Huh.
Also, I want you guys to take note. If you look up in the corner, that's not a StreamYard's logo in the corner.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
I committed to a year of us having nice things on StreamYard.
We are fucking fancy now.
I made the most low effort thumbnail ever for this show and was here on time, Rune. I don't think you understand. I'm committed, dog. I'm here for it.
Well, then we absolutely need to get on them shirts because I mean the next step is we need photographs of Church sitting there with a shirt that says it's relapse time.
No, yeah, I still want that it's relapse time shirt.
Well, I've got the back of the shirt pretty much picked out. Let me see if I can find the design real quick. You guys banter amongst yourself for a minute.
So Miss Rena, for some context, we read through the Powerpuff Girls live action remake script, and I played Bubbles.
Oh, got that.
I played Bubbles, but as Alex Jones, and one of the lines I had to shout while pounding on my while pounding on my desk was "It's relapse time," and one of Rune's friends who was on the show with us took the "It's Miller's time" logo and changed it to "It's relapse time," and we want T-shirts. So that's the background of it. Probably the funniest thing we've ever done on this channel.
At least one of the most popular.
That needs to be Gospel of Comics or Church of Failure merch to fund this bullshit.
To this day, I still show people that stream because one, it was hilarious.
Do you see this? Do you see this stunning gentleman on the left here?
Hold on. I completely destroyed my vocal cords doing that goddamn read through for 2.5 hours.
Do you see the stunning white-haired gentleman in all of his splendor on the left-hand side of your image here?
Unfortunately,
that's the back design with the text arched over his head that says "Take your swing."
Where did you get this picture of Coach Red Pill?
Oh yeah, take your swing. That should be my my motto in all future board games endeavors. Take your swing. I doubt it. Just be honorary Texan for the rest of the time. It'll be great.
Hell yeah.
So, with that, I mean, I think we've covered everything, and Larry's not here to give us our extra show depth, and I don't want to just drag things on for the sake of dragging them on.
That's fair.
So, unless anybody else has anything for the agenda, I think we'll call it a night, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I got this bacon sandwich here. This delicious burger.
Now, is it a bacon sandwich? Is it a burger? What you're playing with my emotions, Ron?
No, it's a burger that Burger King calls a bacon sandwich because it's bigger than their usual burger.
So
it got some Swiss cheese, some sautéed mushroom. You can get that pretty much anywhere.
No, it doesn't have any good stuff on it, sadly.
Well, I do have a few more.
I'm sad nobody caught that reference.
I do have a few more things to say.
No, that beeping. Don't do it again. Son of a bitch.
and don't forget that Epstein didn't.
No, he definitely didn't.
Oh, and COVID's totally.
It's good to see you agreeing with YouTube's terms of service finally, Ayrton. I'm glad you finally came around.
And the vaccine.
Son of a bitch.
Okay.
I'm glad everyone had a good time on the first and probably last episode of...
Hey, I bleeped everything.
Susan can hear it. She's on like 4 boxes of Frenzy at this point.
I'm gonna have to actually listen back to this episode to make sure that came through as good as I was hoping it did.
It did. Okay. Your pause is a little like you pause a little too much. Like you hesitate. And I'm glad you did. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad you didn't commit to it and just start saying the N-word before the beep could start. But
hey, that takes a lot of effort to actually do this live. I'm just pointing that out.
Not say the N-word? Jesus Christ.
No! To time me stop talking and the sound effects to play.
Just get us out of here before you dig the whole deeper, Cosby.
All right. Good night, everybody. Fuck you.
Good night.